Hello, mind friends. If you're just sick and tired of going to some office cubicle somewhere to spend more time with pictures of your family than the real deal, then stick around because you're probably going to want to hear what I have to say. And I might even have a solution for you. Who knows? But here's the deal. I still got my parents around. They're my family. My mom and dad, they raised me. I love them very much. And I get to go spend time with them rather than going to some job building somebody else's pyramid scheme. And I say that with the full intensity of my being. That's what I honestly believe. Someday they're going to pass on, and that's going to be extremely difficult for me to deal with. But one thing that I will not deal with is regret. Regret about, oh, I wish I could have spent more time with my parents than going to some job. And that's a lot of regret that a lot of people are living. A lot of you have kids, and I know a lot of parents that are heartbroken because they can't be there more for their kids. They can't go to their maybe a musical recital, or they can't be there to wake them up every morning and see them off to school, or take them to school, or see them off to bed or just, in general, spend more time with their kids and with their family. I'm not going to have regret when my parents pass on, and I get to be here now, present, while I still have them. How about you with your family? Everyone says that family is number one. And that's a pretty cool thing to say. But everyone knows that actions speak louder than words. How you spend your time is going to be the real dictator of where your priorities are versus what you say. How are you spending your time? Who are you spending your time with? Do you spend more time at the office with pictures of your family? Or do you spend more time with the real deal? In my opinion, God, you spend any time at a job building somebody else's pyramid scheme with pictures of your family. I can't deal with even a 1 minute of my day doing that. So I will never, ever have a job ever again. And I'm not saying you have to go just get rid of your job. There's a process so that if you want to, you can come to a place where you no longer are needy for a job and needy for a paycheck so that you can keep the lights on at home and pay bills. In my personal opinion, that is an absolute ridiculous way to live. I didn't know that once upon a time, but once I learned of other ways, I'm like, oh my God, this is so ridiculous. I can't do this anymore. So I began a process and I stopped, and now I can spend my time with my family, with my parents. I can spend my time creating experiences and putting my energy into that instead of any energy at all into how things are going to be paid for, bills and so on. This also allows me to take my mind and my focus completely off of money. And I have a very positive relationship with money. I don't have a negative relationship with making money like a lot of people do. And I feel very bad for anybody that does have a negative relationship with money and holds negative energy towards that, because they screw themselves out of being able to spend their time exactly how they want, regardless of what they believe. That's an honest to God fact. So here's what I did. Back in August of 2007, the girl I was dating at the time was in a home business. She invited me. I said no for 3 months. Didn't believe I could do it, and skeptical, that word that everybody says, but that's true. That was me. But 3 months into it, I saw she was having a lot of success, and I saw where she was going with it, being able to no longer be needy for a job. And so I said yes 3 months later. Fast forward, it took me personally 2.5 years. It was a process of 2.5 years where I no longer needed a job. Fired my boss. For me, actually, that meant I could give up the job search. I never actually did find work after my last job was offshore to India for cheap wages. But I fired my boss, called off the job search forever. And at that point, that was my liberation. That's when I could spend my time how I want, with my parents, with whoever, creating experiences, traveling, whatever that looks like for me. And you got an idea of what that looks like for you, because your heart bleeds for it. If you want to put your family first, but you can't even spend as much time as you'd like with your family, that's something that your heart bleeds for. And everybody can relate to that. And I don't think you're going to get there hanging on to a job. I just don't. Because at a job, it demands that you keep stealing time away from your family and away from creating experiences and away from doing things that you really want to do. A job demands that you keep stealing time away. Because if you stop stealing your time away, you stop getting paid, and then you can't keep the lights on anymore. So the secret's not really a secret because I'm very open about it, but it's not in that type of income. Job income is absolute slavery, and you cannot put your family first as much as you'd like to if you have to steal your time to keep making money. And that includes most people that are self-employed. There's a myth out there that says, if you're self-employed and you do well at that, then you got your freedom. That's not true. Most self-employed people are more enslaved to working for money than people with a job. That's absolutely true. It's the income type, not the employment type, but the income type. It's residual and passive income. Passive means it comes in regardless of how you spend your time, which means you can spend your time with your family, putting them first by means of how you spend your time, not by what you say, but how you actually spend your time. You can put your family first finally, because you have passive money that's totally covering you, making your bills disappear, so you don't have to worry about that. And you can take your focus entirely off of money and put it where you really want it to be, where your heart bleeds for your time and your focus and your energy to be, with your family and with whomever, creating experiences. And that's what life is about. Life isn't about some stupid job building somebody else's pyramid scheme, or building any pyramid scheme for that matter. And if somebody still wants to have a job, that's cool as long as it's what you want to do and not out of neediness. And most people that have the job of their dreams are still needy for money. It really has nothing to do with each other. You could be totally happy at your job, nice boss and this and that, which is great. Be grateful about that if that's your scenario. But if that's your only source of income, then you are absolutely living a lifestyle of neediness for money and for a paycheck to pay your bills, keep the lights on at home, and all these other things. The only freedom is, after freedom of the mind, is a residual and passive income. And I don't care what anybody says. You can argue for the legitimacy of a job all you want, and a job has a legitimate place in our culture. But as a means to provide security for your family, as a means to be free, as a means to make money, a job is absolutely illegitimate and the most ridiculous and even destructive idea that's on anybody's brain, to depend on a job for their income. That is the worst, most destructive idea ever. To work for the most insidious pyramid scheme ever devised against mankind, which is the dollar and how the dollar is valuated, especially in United States currency. It's a fiat currency. And I don't care what anybody says that says that, a job is a legitimate way to support your family and this and that. That's just not true. You can't even put your family first by how you spend your time if you depend on that kind of an income. So if this resonates with you at all, then start doing your homework and make some discoveries about residual and passive income, and look for those opportunities where you can build that up in your spare time, the magic of part-time, in a way that doesn't interfere with everything else you've already got going on. And it took me 2.5 years. It might take you longer, it might take you less. And if you think a couple of years is a long time, we'll weigh that against the 40-year plan of working hard for 40 years to retire poorer than you were when you were working. All that time having stolen time away from your family to do it. Weigh that against, 40 years to retire poorer than when you were working, against, a couple years to retire richer than you were when you were working. And that income type is the kind that sets you free on top of all that, which is the most valuable part of that, in my opinion. And if you want to know about what I did, what my then girlfriend at the time in 2007, that I said no for 3 months to, till I said yes. If you want to know what I'm doing, let me know. I'll share it with you. And if this turns out to be your thing, you can run with it, or you can find something else that is your thing and run with that, as long as it's attached to a residual and passive income and something that you own. That's the most important thing. Otherwise, you go out and be self-employed like everybody else says you got to be self-employed. You're going to be like most of them that doesn't have residual and passive money. You'll be more enslaved to stealing your time away for a flippin' dollar than most people with a job. And those are the facts. That's the honest-to-God truth. It has to be residual and passive money. Those are the only types of income that creates any freedom after freedom of the mind. Because if you don't have freedom of the mind, you ain't going to learn that stuff. You'll be one of those people just shut down to the idea. And defending the most destructive idea that exists is to have a job for the purpose of making money. That is the worst, most destructive idea ever. Sound redundant saying that, but it's so freaking true. This way you can put your family first. You can do things that your heart has been bleeding to do If you want to know what I just connect with me privately, you can go to my website. You can check me out, fireyourboss.xyz, not .com.xyz, fireyourboss.xyz. I've got thousands of pieces of content, all free, designed at helping people get a result, all to do with health, healing, happiness, wealth creation, philanthropy, mindset training, freedom of the mind, all that stuff. There's plenty of reviews out there about me, negative ones, bad ones. Some people, like myself, are living this lifestyle of freedom and being able to put our family first by how we spend our time, not what we're saying, but how we spend our time. Some of us are living that life, which means it's possible for you. Many of us are not living that life. Some of us put out really negative reviews about that life. Some of us put out really positive reviews about living that life. Some of us attach ourselves to the negative reviews about living that life and screw ourselves out of any opportunity to live our time how we want. Other people attach themselves to the positive reviews and do some really cool things and transition into becoming a free human being and living their life and their time how they want, putting their family first. So you can make those decisions, and whatever you've decided in the past, you can always draw a line in the sand any day. I used to have some really bad beliefs just like everyone else. All of this was a learning curve, but it started with a change of my mind. You've changed your mind before. You can do it again. You've proven you can do that. And you can learn some new skills. You can pick up some new ideas. You can have a massive change of personal philosophy and what you believe in. And it can change in a way this time, unlike maybe in the past when you've changed your mind. This time you can change your mind that's actually in alignment and total 100% congruence with what your heart bleeds for. Oh, man. I hope that made a lot of sense. I look forward to hearing from quite a few of you real soon, because I know this touches a big chord with a lot of people. Fireyourboss.xyz. It's best to connect with me privately over Facebook, and I will get back to you. I made my first hundreds of thousands of dollars without any advertising on Facebook. I backtracked how I did it so I could teach it. This provides a lot of flexibility. My students love the fact that it's online on Facebook because it means they can do it from anywhere, any time of day, doesn't matter when, and it can be done outside of everything else you've already got going on, so it doesn't interfere with anything. And that way, in your spare time, you can begin that transition to creating freedom, which might take a couple of years in your spare time. Just want you to know I'm very honest and transparent and forthcoming about that, so there aren't any surprises. But if that turns you on in the end, we'll do it. We will run with it, and you'll be a great success story, and you will inspire more people. Just as I inspire people with my overcoming my problems, you'll inspire as you overcome your problems. You won't know who, you just know that you will. That's going to light you up, and you're going to love it. And you're going to be able to spend more time with your family and put them first. And whatever your heart bleeds for, you'll be able to put that first. It's really important. All right, I'm going to close this off for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is one of my longer ones. I will hear from quite a few of you real soon. My next video is going to be coming soon because I love making these videos very regularly. It's a labor of love for me. All things to do with health, healing, happiness, wealth creation, freedom, philanthropy, mindset. This one I'd say definitely touched more on the mindset and wealth creation than anything else, and helping you to set your priorities right for real by how you spend your time finally. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.